Let's talk about the fact that Democrats have been labeling President Trump a to democracy for the better half of 10 years. Let's talk about how they have compared him to one of the worst mass in the history of the world, and that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden weaponized the court system and the justice system in this country against Donald Trump in an attempt to imprison him. He sat through a courthouse for 7 weeks this past year, and the Democrats were hoping he would go to jail for it. That is real political that has led to 2 heinous attempts on President Trump's life that, by the grace of God, he was able to escape, and he is here with us today. So yes, President Trump knows a little bit about political because he's experienced it himself. And talking about the tragic realities of war that Liz Cheney and her father Dick Cheney have got this country into is not political. It's talking about the reality of the foreign conflicts that the Washington, D.C. establishment have sold out young Americans to for decades.
There is no going back from the fact that Joy Behar truly went too far this time. Her shocking remark on a recent episode of The View sparked outrage from people of all political persuasions and sparked accusations of overt sexism. The veteran co-host disparaged 27-year-old Karoline Leavitt, Donald Trump's press secretary, suggesting that her appearance was the only reason she was hired, and that her credentials were unimportant. I believe she's likely in there because Donald Trump says she's a 10, Behar joked. The condescension in her words. Both left and right viewers were incensed at Behar's blatant hypocrisy for reducing a young, accomplished political strategist to nothing more than her physical appearance, while claiming to support female empowerment. The response was swift and hateful. This was not merely a sarcastic jab at Leavitt, rather it was an insult to all women who have battled for acceptance of their abilities, intelligence, and diligence. The outcry on social media was swift, with many pointing out that Behar's remark was a clear contradiction of everything The View professes to support. One Twitter user encapsulated the indignation quite well. The View purports to oppose sexism, but Joy Behar claims that Karoline Leavitt was hired based solely on her appearance. Although it was hard to overlook the irony, Leavitt's handling of the situation was what truly made this controversy stand out. She did exactly the opposite of what many had anticipated, which was to dismiss Behar's sexist remark or steer clear of any conflict at all. She did more than simply reply. She used poise, assurance, and hard, unyielding facts to thoroughly dismantle Behar's unfounded accusation. Behar believed that she could get away with making a cheap, condescending comment, but she chose the wrong person this time. The View was left scrambling to repair the damage after Leavitt was prepared. She's probably been put in there because Donald Trump says she's a 10, Behar said. Starting a backlash that went well beyond conservative circles, the uproar was more about the person who made the remark than it was about the comment itself. Behar had just reduced a young, successful woman to nothing more than her appearance. Behar has long been an advocate for feminism and female empowerment. People of all political stripes were not going to tolerate the obvious hypocrisy. In addition to being an insult to Leavitt, Behar's comment was a slap in the face to all women who have put in the effort to establish a career based on their abilities, intelligence, and commitment. In a time when women are still struggling to gain respect in the media, business, and political spheres, it was upsetting to hear a self-described feminist disparage another woman in such a shallow manner. Her detractors didn't take long to criticize her. Who could publicly disparage another woman on such trivial grounds as someone who professes to support women's accomplishments? The outcry was swift and extensive, with social media exploding in condemnation. Joy Behar, a Twitter user, encapsulated the frustration when she claimed that Karoline Leavitt was hired based solely on her appearance. Doesn't The View purport to oppose this exact form of sexism? Behar's supporters were nowhere to be seen, and the irony was unavoidable, but Karoline Leavitt didn't take the insult lying down. A lot of people thought she would try to avoid the controversy or ignore Behar's sexist remark. Rather, she took a different tack, one that caught The View off guard. Leavitt didn't merely reply. With tact, intelligence, and unquestionable confidence, she methodically refuted Behar's charge. Instead of using emotional outbursts or cheesy comebacks, she arrived prepared with poise, facts, and a refusal to be intimidated. When she was done, Behar rather than Leavitt appeared weak. Leavitt's forceful response seemed to momentarily shock even Whoopi Goldberg, who frequently jumps to defend her co-hosts. Goldberg tried to interrupt, but Leavitt remained firm and refused to let the panel divert or skew the discussion. Not only was that moment energizing, it was also potent. As soon as they saw it, viewers praised Leavitt's poise on social media. Many referred to it as one of the most forceful and decisive takedowns in years of mainstream television political discourse. Leavitt made it plain that she would not tolerate bullying and would not allow The View to continue its discriminatory practices. Leavitt, however, did not merely defend herself. She completely reversed the situation and exposed the long history of hypocrisy in the Viewpoints' support of women. As she pointed out, The View loves to say that they are all about empowering women, but the moment a woman doesn't share their leftist views, they treat her in a way that contradicts their claims. This wasn't merely a casual remark, rather it was a direct challenge to the show's credibility, and her words struck a deep chord because they were unquestionably true. By pointing out how The Viewpoint had applied the same strategies to other conservative women, such as Kale Manon and Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Leavitt exposed a glaring pattern of behavior. Their so-called feminism was, at best, selective, as the show's hosts repeatedly disparaged and attacked women who didn't fit their political mold. Leavitt's criticism of this obvious double standard made viewers reevaluate whether The Viewpoint genuinely supports all women or just those who share their political views, as evidenced by the tremendous online support for Leavitt. Clearly, a lot of people saw The Viewpoint for what it is, a platform that purports to support women while discrediting those who have the audacity to think differently. Following Whoopi Goldberg's full-fledged tirade about wokeness, the situation worsened. Not only did she lose her temper, but the conversation erupted into chaos as she lost all control. Throughout the debate, Goldberg brought up a quote from a prior interview with Karoline Leavitt: "There won't be any wokeness here." Goldberg's statement triggered a furious outburst in which he vehemently argued that wokeness has been crucial to the advancement of society. Her emotional outburst, however, failed to recognize a crucial point. Wokeness has evolved into a divisive ideology that frequently divides rather than brings people together. Goldberg adopted a patronizing tone, suggesting that Leavitt lacked the historical background necessary to comprehend social advancements, rather than having a fruitful discussion about the contemporary implications of wokeness. Ironically, Goldberg did this to highlight the very issue that wokeness critics frequently raise, that it can come across as exclusive, contemptuous, and unwilling to consider different viewpoints. However, this incident had far-reaching and immediate effects. It wasn't just another contentious discussion on The View. As they might have hoped, Goldberg and her co-hosts failed to undermine Leavitt. Instead, they discredited themselves. Video of Joy Behar's sexist remarks and Leavitt's composed, fact-based response went viral in a matter of hours, sparking a social media conflagration. Users on both the left and the right attacked The Viewpoint for its Leavitt's cool-headed and astute handling of the situation was commended by even those who disagreed with him politically, who acknowledged that Behar's remarks were improper. However, The View's latest scandal and its mounting credibility issues were highlighted by numerous outlets as the controversy swiftly spread beyond social media into mainstream media. There was a growing sense of tension behind the scenes at ABC as the criticism grew. ABC executives were caught off guard by the outcry and are becoming more and more irritated with Joy Behar's actions, according to insider sources. So, her spot on the show may now be in jeopardy, according to reports. Given the frequent PR catastrophes that Behar's comments cause, one insider disclosed that ABC's leadership is seriously considering whether she is worth keeping. There's a thin line between provoking discussion and alienating viewers. Even though controversy has always been a part of The View's brand, ABC is aware that they have significantly crossed the line this time. But a much more significant change in the media landscape of today is highlighted by this controversy. This concerns a shift in the public's perception of legacy media, not just one problematic episode or one divisive statement. What was so important about the situation? Did Karoline Leavitt receive the unexpected outpouring of support, even from people who typically disagree with her politically? Social media was flooded with comments from viewers who respected Leavitt's tenacity despite their differing ideologies. People are sick of biased stories, obvious hypocrisy, and media personalities who won't take responsibility for their actions. That was the clear message. The View believed that they were establishing the agenda. Rather, they ultimately revealed their own prejudice, and the world was looking. Joy Behar's remarks were criticized by many for being offensive not only to Karoline Leavitt, but also to all women who aspire to succeed in gender-dominated fields. a deeper dissatisfaction with media outlets such as The View, which claim to support women's empowerment but frequently denied that support to conservative women, is revealed by the bipartisan backlash, according to one observer. Even prominent liberal commentators were unable to overlook Behar's obvious hypocrisy. Simply put, it's disgusting to reduce Karoline Leavitt's accomplishments to her appearance. What was Behar thinking, really? You don't have to agree with her. Not only was this a victory for Leavitt, but it also opened viewers' eyes to the unfairness of the mainstream media. As the public support for Leavitt grew, ABC's backstage chaos broke out. According to insiders, the backlash caught network executives completely off guard, and they are currently frantically trying to control the fallout. And Joy Behar, the person at the center of it all, rumor has it that ABC's top executives are seriously considering whether it makes sense to keep Behar on the show given the constant controversy she causes. Behar is currently perilously close to crossing the thin line between sparking conversation and totally alienating the audience, even though The Viewpoint thrives on heated debate. This time they've gone absolutely overboard. The ratings and views have already started to decline, and disputes like this only make matters worse. Advertisers are beginning to worry about whether the show is still a good fit for their brands. ABC executives are seriously considering a significant shakeup because they are tired of having to constantly clean up these PR calamities, according to one insider. Does this indicate that Joy Behar's time on The View is coming to an end? However, this is a part of a much larger problem, not just one hope. A recurring pattern was revealed by the Karoline Leavitt controversy. Does what happened to her on The View happen more than once? The way conservative women are treated by mainstream media is exemplified by this, from Kayleigh McKinney to Sarah Huckabee Sanders to Elise Stefanik. We have witnessed intelligent, articulate conservative women being disrespected, discredited, or repeatedly dismissed due to their political beliefs. The View and other media organizations frequently advocate for women's empowerment, but then abruptly stop supporting women who don't share their beliefs. Rather than having genuine conversations or recognizing their achievements, they turn to insulting remarks and personal attacks. These media outlets' professed commitment to equality and feminism is undermined by this obvious double standard, which hurts more than just the women they target. Viewers are becoming aware of this hypocrisy and speaking out against it, as evidenced by the backlash against it. By using The View's attack to reveal the deeper bias in the mainstream media, Karoline Leavitt did more than just defend herself. This is about the treatment of conservative voices, particularly women, in venues that purport to support diversity and empowerment, not just about one episode or controversy. Will The View eventually have to reconsider its strategy as viewers demand accountability and ABC frantically attempts to contain the damage? Or will they simply intensify their efforts to sow discord? There's no doubt that Karoline Leavitt emerged from this experience stronger than before, and they might have a harder time recovering from this one. Please remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications if you liked this breakdown. In the next one, see ya.